Hello, good afternoon. Today I will be presenting my assessment on one of the most significant cyber attacks in modern history, the Salt Typhoon. As CISA Director Jan astutely described it, this was the most significant telecommunication hack in US history. My presentation will walk you through what happened and why it succeeded and what it means for critical national infrastructure and what we must do about it. So the overview. So here's a quick outline about what we'll be discussing today. I'll start by explaining what critical infrastructure is, then introduce the Salt Typhoon threat actor, walk through the incident and the threat actor, and explain why it gets succeeded, and explore the cascade effect across CNI sectors, and finish with the mitigation steps. So here is the CNI. What is CNI? The UK government defines CNI across 13 sectors: energy, water, transport, health, communications, finance, food, government, emergency services, defense, space, civil, nuclear, and chemicals. These are systems whose disruptions would cause serious harm to society. Now, in this case study, the Salt Typhoon specifically targets the communication sector, and that is the most dangerous sector to compromise. Because communications underpin every single other sector on the list, attack communications, you have effectively attacked all 13 simultaneously. So the threat actor, who is Salt Typhoon, is a Chinese state-sponsored advanced persistent threat group, also known as Red Mike. They operate under the direct sponsorship of China Ministry of State Security, and it is at least active around 2019. And in the main target is they have been active since at least 2019 and the classified as tier 1 nation state threat. Their objectives are threefold: espionage, monitoring government and diplomatic communications, pre-conflict access, embedding inside networks before any open conflict, and strategic disruption. Strategic disruption, the ability to cut CNI services at a moment of geopolitical crisis, particularly around Taiwan. So here you go, the attack timeline. The attack unfolded over several years between 2021 to 2023. Attackers silently infiltrated a telecommunications network globally, and then with zero detection, in March 2024, supply chain compromises were identified. Malicious code embedded in firmware updates by June 2024. Attackers had breached CALEA, the US government's own legal wiretap surveillance systems, in September 2024. Including AT and T Verizon, the T-Mobile by October 2024, it emerged the calls of senior political figures, also in which including those of Donald Trump and JD Vance and Harris campaign stuff. And by 2025, the scale had expanded over 20 nations with estimated 1 million users' metadata stolen. The time attackers were inside networks undetected was approximately two years. So the why attack got succeeded because of exotic zero-day exploits, but because of entirely preventable failures. First, the attackers used living off the land techniques. This means moving laterally using built-in system tools like PowerShell and WML, leaving almost no malware signature to detect. Second, they dis- second they have exploited unpatched known CVEs and Cisco routers, Ivanti VPN gateways, and Palo Alto firewalls. Vulnerabilities that had patches available but never been applied. Third, no multi-factor authentication. Stolen credentials gave immediate administrative access. Fourth, they deploy the Ghost Spider custom backdoor, a persistent encrypted command and control implant that survive reboots of security scans. Fifth, they also get the access of the surveillance system access, in which the government surveillance tools against the legal wiretap infrastructure. And the sixth, flat network architecture meant that once inside, attackers could move freely between subscriber databases and core routing systems. So the scale of breach was the numbers the numbers we can see the statistics. Nine or more major US telecoms breached, over 80 nations affected, over 1 million users metadata stolen, and approximately 2 years of undetected access inside critical networks. The attackers did not just intercept data, they intercepted the very systems government used to spy on suspects. So the CNI cascade effect, this is where the true danger of targeting communication CNI becomes clear. When communication fails, every other sector fails with it. Finance, Swift-based clearing system and trading platforms depend on telecom infrastructure. Government senior official communications were directly intercepted, destroying the diplomatic confidentiality defense. Military network diagrams and plans were exposed. Health also was affected. The networks rely on telecoms for emergency response, emergency services, active criminal investigations were compromised through wiretap access, and transport, rail signaling, air traffic control, and traffic management all were affected badly. One attack cascading across every sector simultaneously. In all of these sectors, it affects. And the geopolitical strategic significance, we can see here, the beyond the technical, this attack has enormous strategic significance. But Salt Typhoon is not ransomware, it is not criminal, it is deliberate state positioning attack. The access remains dormant, a loaded gun. Analysts widely assess this is pre-positioning for a Taiwan crisis. The CALA breach also proves that government mandated backdoors are the most valuable targets for adversaries. Security through obscurity simply does not work. In the next slide, we will talk about the mitigation. So, what can be done to mitigate these steps? I propose six specific remediation steps for the telecom CNI sector. One, implement zero trust architecture, eliminating implicit trust on my internal network. Two, enforce mandatory hardware and MFA using passkeys or remote access point. And three, mandate a maximum 72-hour patch deployment for critical CVs in the network hardware. Four, network segmentation, physically and logically separate IT and OT system to prevent lateral movement. And the fifth one, redesign the CALA infrastructure. Six, supply chain hardware auditing, all hardware firmware to be cryptographically signed and verified at deployment. Third party telecom equipment must pass independent security audits before installation. And what are the key takeaways? What we have learned in this, to summarize: communication CNI is the master keystone. Compromise it and everything falls. Nothing states attackers do not need 0 days. Known CVEs and absent MFA are enough. LOTL techniques defeat signature-based detection. Government backdoors are the single most dangerous point of failure, and Salt Typhoon is not concluded espionage; it is a pre-positioned weapon. So here we will be ending with the conclusion. Salt Typhoon exposes a stark reality: the greatest theft to CNA is not sophisticated attack; it is the systematic failures we already know about and choose not to fix. This was deliberate strategic pre-positioning designed to cripple infrastructure at a moment of China's choosing. Nations that fall to adopt zero trust, enforce MFA, and harden their supply chains are not merely vulnerable; they are already compromised. So they were already compromised, and here are the references, and that's it. Thank you.